So last week I showed you my blooms, and they've been on this orchid for a year and 2 months. I was like, oh, let's try to make it to like a year and a half. I'm getting secondary flower stems growing here, and you can see the bulbs are getting bigger, the buds. So these are all going to be flowers pretty soon. But last week my blooms were doing a lot better, but my leaves weren't doing very good. I lost one bloom. So, and this one is going to fall off soon. See how it's curling up? These ones are still okay, so I'm not sure how long they're going to last. Maybe they'll last quite a while still. I'm trying to get to a year and a half. So we have like 4 more months to go. No guarantees that's going to happen now. But anyways, I did notice that my leaves weren't doing very good. Like these bigger ones were firm, which they still are. But this one wasn't very firm last week. If you remember when I touched it, it was kind of flimsy. And I decided I was going to give it some tea. So that's what I've been doing. I've been giving it tea. I just take the tea bag and rub the leaves with it and the aerial roots. Speaking of aerial roots, they're getting bigger also since I've been giving it tea. See that? They're actually growing out of the pot now. See that? Actually has tea on it still. So it's doing better as far as the leaves strengthening, the aerial roots getting longer, just in 1 week. That's a big improvement. But the blooms, one's lost, one's bound to be lost, and we'll see what happens with the rest. And I also decided I was going to try some banana infused water. It has minerals. Shoot, I can't remember what all is in that. I have potassium for sure. I think calcium. I can't remember what else. I do have it wrote down someplace though. But basically all I've been doing with the tea is, it won't hurt to drip that in there, is just kind of rubbing over the leaves like this, because they absorb through leaves and the aerial roots. So I've just been doing this. And then just squeezing a little bit over the roots. Oh, my bag ripped. That's okay, it won't hurt anything. I think I'm going to dip it in this banana water. And I'm going to give it some of that and see what happens. Maybe that'll help the blooms last. We'll see. See what happens.
Lithium Top Tracks, featuring top grunge rock and 90s alternative hits.
And I am going to give it its ice probably tomorrow instead of today. And I also have the Orchid food spray that I've been using, which I'll probably just give it that tomorrow as well. See, I'm just dabbing, I'm not pouring. So I might have to get a different tea bag. This one's definitely ripped before I do my other orchid. So anyways, that's where that's at this week. We'll see how much longer I can get these blooms to last. I'm hoping maybe these blooms will last until the new ones start opening. That would be nice. Then I can just turn the entire plant around. See how this is a nice pretty design, how it comes up and then loops over. If all these die when the other ones are coming on, I can just turn the entire plant and still have a nice appearance to it. So that'll be nice. Alright, that's where we're at. I keep trying to remember to tell you guys, this is a phalaenopsis orchid. There are so many different varieties of orchids. And ordinarily, these will bloom between 2 and 4 months. I did read a few articles where they have bloomed for up to a year and a half. And like I said before, I'm up to a year and 2 months. If I can at least get the rest of these blooms to last 4 more months, I will feel like I accomplished something. But you know what? Kudos to this plant for doing so well. Because orchids are very sensitive. And I may have been losing blooms recently because it warmed up. Like any temperature change will cause the plant to do various things, like lose blooms, the leaves may not be as healthy, and with the temperature kind of going back and forth, you know, as spring is emerging, the plant is kind of like, oh no, what's going on, it's too hot, so like I try to keep my heat turned down between 65 and 68 at the warmest. One, because of the orchids and some of my other plants, they don't like extreme temperatures, and my books, and I don't like it hot right now either. But anyways, orchids are very sensitive to temperature change, and I was one day late watering it, so that could be another reason why I lost that bloom. And why this one's like, oh no, you didn't water me in time. So, yeah, orchids are very sensitive plants. But very beautiful if you can get them to keep blooming. So, I just have to make sure that I water it at exactly, you know, on exactly the same day. And I don't actually water it, I give it ice cubes. So, when I first got this, it was in a smaller pot, and I was giving it 3 ice cubes 1 time a week. And when I put it in this bigger pot, which is probably 2 times as big as the pot that I originally bought it in, I found that I have to give it 5 or 6 ice cubes now 2 times a week, depending on if it looks like it's dried out and it needs it. As the plant gets larger, or if it's blooming continuously or has the same blooms for a long period of time, it's going to need more ice cubes. This particular orchid, you water with ice cubes. I'm not sure about all the rest of them. But the phalaenopsis, generally I use the ice cube method, and it's working pretty well for me. I know there's a lot of orchid enthusiasts out there that like to argue, like, oh, don't use ice cubes, they're a tropical plant, da-da-da. Which, okay, I can kind of see what you're saying. But another thing, by giving this the ice cubes, it also tricks it into thinking, oh, it's fall, it's, you know, time to bloom, or it's time to grow new leaves. So depending on the different temperature changes that you offer to your orchid, it's going to stimulate either flower stem growth, flower blooming, or more leaf production. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. Not just basically one thing. Orchids are, like I said, very sensitive to the type of light they're getting, the type of water and when, and the temperature. They actually like full indirect light. So this area works out perfectly for my orchid. Plus I also have a lamp on the other side for my other orchid, which I'll get a different video for that one because that one's actually getting a new flower stem after several years. So kudos to that plant. I just feel like I'm a little disappointed in losing that bloom and the other one that's going to fall off, but at the same time, I can't really complain. I can't really complain about this because it's been blooming for so long. The same flowers. It's held the same flowers for so long. I just have to be, grateful that it's done that. I just love how they look like little hummingbirds up close. If I can get this to focus. There. You see how it looks like a little hummingbird up close? To me it does anyways. I don't know if you can see it or if it's still blurry. But to me, they just look like little hummingbirds. I think it's adorable. There, I think I got it now. I think you can see it. Where it looks like a hummingbird. It may not be focusing. Anyways, I just think they're the cutest flowers. Alright. We're done with this one. I'm gonna give it ice cubes tomorrow and some of the orchid spray, and that'll be good. Catch you later.